Hey guys, it's Eric with the Miller Park Minute, where we're throwing strikes and getting likes, hitting dingers and getting listeners. Back again with another episode. This is the only Brewers daily podcast out there on the internet right now. We're coming at you 7 days a week, every morning, 5:30 a.m. Central Standard Time is our upload time. You can check us out on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Anchor, iHeartRadio, Amazon, Google, you name it, we're there. Um, and as always, the code for the SeatGeek is Miller Park Minute, $20 off. As you guys can see, we went through a little rebrand this past weekend. We got some great logos put out by my beautiful stepdaughter. She did do some great work. My wife did some inspiration on that. She helped out. And I really appreciate the two's collaboration. They did a great job. So just wanted to shout them out one more time. Yeah, check out the new logos. They're everywhere. They're gonna be on the upper corner, bottom corner, you name it. YouTube page looking fresh. We're changing a lot of it. So just kind of working behind the scenes slowly but surely. So keep checking for updates. I don't know if I'll do any kind of like emails or any kind of articles or anything like that. I don't really write, so I don't think I'll be writing articles, but who knows? We'll try. So the topic for tonight is this needs to stop. The Brewers need to stop doing this. And what do you ask that? What might that be? What do they need to stop doing? What do the Brewers need to stop doing in 2023? They need to stop making half decisions. You may know this already, but we, over the years, have been half in on a lot of guys. Corey Ray is a classic example. He never really panned out, never really worked out. And he got a major league call-up, then got sent right back down. He played in Chicago in one game, and that was it. And I think it just needs to stop. I think we're at a point now, especially where the window is closing. And a lot of people have questioned me on why I say, like why let's cash in. Let's get everything we can out of Corbin Burnes and for trades. And I'm gonna explain in further detail what I mean here. This is a rant podcast. I don't plan to really reference anything. Maybe towards the end we'll reference a couple things, but hold on tight. Hold on to your butts because we're just going to rant off for however long I see fit. So over the years, the Brewers have been half in on certain players. Examples are really abundant. I'm going to use the Keston Hiura example. Tyrone Taylor fits into this. They get these guys, they bring them to the major leagues, and then they kind of fizzle, don't really go anywhere. We can't really decide where we want to go with him. Are we going to trade him? Are we going to get rid of him? Do we just DFA him? And I think that's kind of the essence of where I say they're kind of half in. They either go half in on, like working on the farm or, oh, let's call this guy up. Oh, no, let's leave him in the majors for a little while or in the minors for a little while, then call him up to the majors. We've been half in on that way on more times than we can count. And I'm not going to rattle through every one of them because there's a lot of them where, we put a guy here, even the Corbin Burnes, Freddie, and Woody example was we're half in, but then we went all in. And then we kind of had to kind of play the hand a little bit and figure it out. And they did figure it out with time. But I think that's the hardest part. I think that's the hardest part as an organization, as a fan, as all of us, because it puts us in this spot where we're like, God, we want to be really excited. But at the same time, they make something, a move to be counterproductive. And why I say this needs to stop is I look at what happened with Josh Hader last year and where a lot of this fan base right now and where we are speaking in comments and conversations with each other across Facebook, across, all these social platforms, Twitter. I mean, we say it's such a garbage dump out there for internet chatter about the team. Well, it's because there's a lot of fans that have their feelings hurt with what happened with Josh Hader. I'll say it right now. I'm one of them. I was very angry. I had a conversation with Dom. I think I've already talked about this, but he talked me down a little bit from what the move was. And then it turned out to be just an absolutely abysmal failure on every level. I mean, they got rid of the guy the next day. Um, even what happened with Lorenzo Cain, whether it's mismanagement from the team, which I here nor there. I mean, player skill sets also have things to do with that. I'm not going to play totally oblivious to that. But at the same time, I think it comes down to making clear and concise decisions. Whether you want to extend a Christian Yelich, whether you want to extend in Corbin Burnes, Willie Peralta. And I understand that there's certain aspects of this that they don't want to do publicly and they don't want to publicly declare. But I think for the fan standpoint and for public relations amongst us, I think that that's very necessary. I think we as fans want to know and want to see where the team is, where the Brewers are, and what their thoughts are. Do they think they're going to get Willie? Do they think they're going to get Corbin Burnes? Do they think, what can they do? What can they do? I mean, they've showed some willingness to lock some guys up to contracts, obviously. You did do that with Ashby and Freddie Peralta. Now, are those the only guys that they truly, really liked? I don't know. I mean, or did they just accept a lesser amount than they thought they would? Freddie's had his contract extension for like two years, I want to say. So, and Freddie's very, very in with the organization. I don't know if other guys are not like that, but Freddie spends his off seasons in Milwaukee working out. If you don't follow him on Instagram, you can actually see that he comes to Milwaukee, works out at local high schools and stuff like that. So I don't know if that's just a fact of who Freddie's relationship with the organization or how he tries to be. He's a very positive, funny guy. So, I mean, it would make sense. But then you also look at, and these are all things I've beaten to death. That's why I'm ranting on this and covering this tonight. Because I had a comment earlier today and I looked at it and I said, yeah, I get where basically the comment said, I think your take, let's read it word for word. Because I love comments. And this is no disrespect to the person who commented, because let me tell you, the comments are what I live for. It's the conversation that we have. So it says, I'm glad you mentioned that, but it feels like they can't ignore this team's greatness enough. I understand they are a small market team, but they have, maybe this isn't the comment I was looking at. Is this a new comment? I don't know. Oh, no, that's not today's comment. Held for review? Maybe the guy removed it. Okay. Well, anyways. Started reading the wrong comment. So anyways, basically the guy didn't like my take on the Corbin Burnes and the fact that they need to be all in and win right now. And I get to this mentality of win right now because in 2018, things were a lot different. We had a thriving Christian Yelich. We had a thriving Lorenzo Cain. We had some momentum. We signed some guys towards the end. We did go all in that sense. And we were one game away from the World Series. So that being said, yeah, I kind of do think we're still in this window. I said the other night on the live stream, and I predict 95, 96 wins, somewhere in that category. A gentleman on here said 94. And I was like, that is awesome. I'm glad someone's in the same boat as I am. I'm glad someone thinks this way, because that means that there is some hope out there. And that's, if we got no hope, what else do we got? I mean, the team goes in trying to go to the World Series, or at least they should. Sometimes it feels so, half in, half out. But at the end of the day, the Brewers organization has made so many half decisions in just this short span of time. And, we can talk about players from 2018, 2019, Jonathan Scope deals, those kind of things where we didn't exactly net the best deal, but we also landed guys like Willie Adames. Contreras was on the back end of a horrible Josh Hader trade. Horrible. And that doesn't make it any better. It doesn't. Fact of the matter, it doesn't. Josh Hader trade was 2022. Ended at 2022. It was a bust. We didn't win that. If we would have gotten to the playoffs and not traded our best player to a contending team, yeah, sure. But we did that. So you win some, you lose some, I guess, at the end of the day. But the point I'm trying to make here is that the end game of Major League Baseball is to win a World Series. It doesn't matter what prospects you have. I mean, look at the Oakland A's. The Oakland A's are the classic example of they have some of the best players, and they develop some of the best players. And they don't take that formula and turn it into playoff berths, World Series, because they don't care. They don't care about, they'll get their minimums, they'll get their very end of the deals. It's a money game for them. It's money, literally money ball, at the end of the day. I think that's the origin of Moneyball, but that movie was great because it showed how they took guys that were nothing and made a winner. And they haven't really done that recently, but at the same time, to make a winner out of the Milwaukee Brewers, we already have a good chunk of the pieces. We have a full rotation of guys. Yeah, there may be some weaknesses, but up and down, left and right, if you compare our rotation to anyone else's in the league, outside of some of the big name teams, yeah, there's a couple better rotations, but we're probably one of the top ranked rotations in Major League Baseball, and we're the youngest rotation in Major League Baseball. That's a fact. I don't think there's a rotation younger than our rotation. So, where I'm going, the end game of all this is the World Series is what matters. Doesn't matter who has the best prospects, the best draft capital, the best potential player that's going to net them the most draft picks, which I think in our case is ours again, but we hold that title. Let's not use it, I'll relate it to something that maybe some of you that watch, not all of you watch, but pro wrestling. The WWE has a match every year. It's called Money in the Bank. It's a 6-man tag team, 6-man ladder match. And if you win that match, you get a contract that's good for 1 year, and you can wrestle the champion at any time. That contract is usually cashed in when guys are at their weakest, when the champion is at his weakest. And then they got a shot to win the world title, which is a big deal. So we have that money in the bank. Our money in the bank is that we do have the potential to trade these guys. We do have a Corbin Burnes that's got a very, very lucrative value, even a Brandon Woodruff or even a Willie Adames. They could all be traded. And I've mentioned trades and things like that. I'm not oblivious to the fact that that's something that could possibly happen. I also think it'll make me very sad if it does. But at the end of the day, at the end of this thing, like, why are we as fans rooting for that? And I'd love to have somebody counter argument. I mean, we could do the same exact show, and I could have a counter argument with somebody. I would love for someone to come on and say, "Hey, I think we should do it because, this next young group of guys is going to be the guys." I don't see it. I mean, I think we got the young group of outfielders that we could pull up right now, and it's that mix of young players. Like we made the experiment with Burnes, Peralta, and Woodruff, kind of combined names there. We made that experiment already. We've been there. We brought the 3 young guys in. Let's see what we can do with these 3 young outfield guys. With our 3 young pitching guys, they're still young pitching guys. They're up. Most of them are sub 30. Let's put it together, and maybe we got a ball club. I would love for them to see major success this season and keep everybody. Maybe sign a role player that, a piece we need down the stretch, and go to the World Series and win. And then everyone who said we should have traded Corbin Burnes would be sorely, sorely wrong. And maybe they wouldn't extend him. I'm not saying they're going to extend him if they win the World Series, but I think that's the end game. I think that's where we're going here. If a World Series is not what we're in this for, then what are we in it at all for at the end of the day? I mean, really. I think what gets lost in people's heads is you see, oh, we can get 5 for 1. Well, yeah, 5 for 1, but at the end of the day, look at the Christian Yelich trade. That's a great example of recent things. The Christian Yelich trade traded 4 or 5 players, one of which is circled all the way back to us, Monte Harris, on a minor league deal back to the Brew Crew. And it's like, they lost. They lost hard. And I don't think they panned out of many of those deals that they made with those big guys. I think, who does Miami really have right now? Avisail Garcia. They don't really have a good team, and they made those moves to try and make the future better. And I mean, they got Sandy Alcantara. They got an NL Cy Young winner. They got, oh my God, the cover boy of. It doesn't matter. The cover boy on MLB The Show of 2023. He's that goofy guy with the crazy hair. Jazz Chisholm. I knew I'd come up with it. But those are the things you think about. That's where my head goes with all this. And I get, draft capital, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we want to be good in the future. What's good about being good in the future if you're not good right now? If I'm going to have food tomorrow, but I didn't eat all day today. I mean, yes, and I get that's economy and things like that. But you know what I mean? I'd rather have it right now versus tomorrow, the next day, 2 weeks from now. And I think when it comes to these guys and where I think these decisions need to be made and where I think we need to maybe carve a direction here and not sit on the pot is Tyrone Taylor, Castanera. Those are our decisions to make at the end of the day. I don't think there's any other real hard decisions, and maybe those decisions will be made. So this is being recorded on February 5th. We are about, I think it's a little less than 2 weeks away from pitchers and catchers reporting at this juncture. So, I mean, yes, those hard decisions are going to be made by the team, by the franchise, but they're out of options. And why did we let these two get to this point? I don't know. I feel like there was been moves that we could have made. Ramon Laureano. There's other guys that have been rumored that could have been outfielders that might have replaced an aging Lorenzo Cain or maybe not put us in the Jackie Bradley. Hunter Renfroe was a good move. I don't care how that thing panned out in the end. Getting Hunter Renfroe in trade back for Jackie Bradley was a good move. But it's just figuring out those pieces, at the end of the day. And getting full commitment. We need a full commitment on what we're doing in a direction. And it kind of feels like the Brewers go here, but then we're over here. Then we're here, then we're here. Same with Christian Yelich. I mean, Christian Yelich is either gonna hit leadoff or DH down further in the lineup. Let's make a decision on that. I think leadoff is his best. Being an on-base guy is his best spot and best position. I think guys like Jesse Winker are gonna slot best as a DH and maybe a little bit of outfield time. Christian Yelich has got to play the field. I think that's the only way to really get him back. I think he's got to play the full game. He's got to just do it all. And maybe he comes out swinging out of the gates. I don't know. I mean, I don't have the answers to all these questions right now. And we're sitting here on a Sunday night in February just talking about what could be. And that's what we're going to talk about for the next 2 weeks until there is reality of what's actually going on with baseball, until what we know is going to be happening. But we'll have fun conversations along the way. They won't all have this grim tone where I'm just sitting here like beating my head against the wall. Like, okay, what are we doing here? What do the fans really want? And you guys tell me, do you want a World Series or do you want to have the best prospects? Because that's what I keep hearing. I keep hearing this conversation about prospects and trade, and yeah, we're not going to sign him long term. I've come to that conclusion at this juncture. If we're not doing it, we probably ain't doing it for the long haul. And I get it, but why not wait it out? Why not? You tell me. Why are we sitting here in this constant continued let's not try, let's we tanked last season. I'm sorry, we flat out tanked it. We did not make a good move. We did not make a good move. And maybe it was just David Stern's kind of maybe David Stern's contract was going to run out and he wasn't going to get the money he wanted, and it was a spiteful move. We don't know. We don't know the motivations behind why they sold us on trading Josh Hader and why they thought it was a big deal, and that just didn't. We went nowhere. You can't tell me that advanced analytics told you that Taylor Rogers was going to be the best thing since sliced bread and going to be better than Josh Hader when you had all the records on Hader. You knew where Hader was. His the stuff with his wife and kid affected his season. I don't think there's any other reason than that. And I still think he's one of the top 10 closers in baseball. Relievers, whatever you want to call them. I don't know. Guess I'll end on that note for now. That's all I got to say about that. I can't really spin my yarn too much more on anything else. We do have a couple special guests coming up. We're trying to collab with many more people. The reason being, I like having a conversation all the way around. And the last piece of today that I really want to talk about is Hammer and Hank. Hammer and Hank is actually pictured right above my head. I've got his bobbles. I've got a lot of stuff. Hammer and Hank would have been 89 years old today, I believe. Yeah, so 89 years old. So of course we remember Hammer and Hank because that's what this game is about, having something to remember. So there's a little bit of 13 stats that show Hammer and Hank's significance. Actually, it says Hank Aaron. I just call him Hammer and Hank. But anyway, so we'll read through this. This is an MLB article. Just kind of one last little piece that I really wanted to talk about. As I said, I write no notes. So like when I go into an episode, a lot of times I'm flying. I'm just flying through things, and I didn't know how long this rant would take and how much time of your time of this I would take up. So so this is 1 through 13 right here. No off years, 20 seasons of 20 homers. One surprising aspect of Aaron's 755 career home runs is that he produced them without hitting more than 47 in a single season. A total of 49 players produced a higher single season total than Aaron ever did. 16 of them multiple times, yet Aaron sits second on the all-time list behind Barry Bonds. Built to last, nearly 3,300 games. You don't hit 750 home runs without being a paragon of durability and longevity. Aaron's 3,298 games played puts him behind Carl Yastrzemski for the second all-time. Pete Rose is number one with 3,562. Aaron played at least 150 games 14 times and at least 120 games 21 times, tying Rose for the most such seasons in MLB history. Aaron also ranks third in plate appearances, 13,941. Whew. They don't make them like that anymore. They don't make them like they used to. Age is just a number. Productive at 20 and 40. One thing that stands out about Aaron is that he was a tremendous young player and a tremendous old player. As for the former, he is only 25 position players to produce a 6 WAR season at the age of 21 or younger per Baseball Reference, and tied it for the 10th in total WAR up through age 25. But he is also tied for 8th in WAR at age 35 or older. His WAR was 31.4. Aaron's 2 highest single season OPS figures actually came at age 37 and 39. This is why you gotta love the history of the game right here. This is it. This is just leaderboard legend. Top 5 in many categories. In addition to home runs, games, plate appearances, Aaron ranks 3rd all-time in hits, 3,771 hits, 4th in runs, 2,174, 1st in total bases, 6,856, 1st in extra bases, 1,477, 1st in RBIs, 2,297, 4th in intentional walks, 293, 5th in WAR for position players, 143.1. He is one of 7 players to reach the hallowed milestone of 3,000 hits and 500 home runs after Miguel Cabrera joined the club in 2022. Number 5, a hit machine, 3,000 hits without the homer. Take another look at the hit total, 3,771. It doesn't take a mathematician to figure out what that means. Even if you took away each and every of Aaron's 755 home runs, he would still have cracked the 3,000 hit mark. One of the most celebrated in baseball. Homers aside, Aaron's 3,016 hits would rank 30th in MLB history. The player who would be behind him, Wade Boggs, a Hall of Famer who batted .328 over 18 seasons with a total of 3,010 hits. Total domination, the king of the total bases. Think about those 6,856 total bases, too. That total is 722 more than second place Stan Musial, about twice the amount produced by 2021's MLB leader Vladimir Guerrero Jr., 363. How much is 6,085? It equates to 1,714 home runs, 2,285 triples, 3,428 doubles. If a player matched Ruth's single-season record of 457 total bases, kept that up for 15 years, he would still be 1 base short of Hank Aaron. God. They just don't make them like they used to, do they? I mean, really, at the end of that. K's under control. Just 116th in strikeouts. As mentioned, Aaron went to the plate more times than all but 2 other players in baseball history. He hit more home runs than all but 1. Despite that, his lack of strikeouts is stunning, especially by modern standards. Aaron finished with 1,383 Ks, fewer than 1,402 walks, which is only 119th in MLB history. My God. There's a lot of numbers to do. This is going to be a very wordy portion, but I'm going to kind of try and skim these and just make them a little shorter because I did read this earlier. Afraid of No One, Taming the Hall of Famers. Aaron faced most of some of the best of the best. Sandy Koufax, Steve Carlton, Don Drysdale. And he was amazing. I mean, look at these numbers, and he played against the best in the game and some of the future Hall of Famers. Shining bright, an annual All-Star. Aaron is still the all-time All-Star with a record 25 selections. You know, the last player to have like any big amount, I believe it was David Ortiz with like 9. So 25 years he was in there. That's amazing. A high floor of 15 straight years of a 6+ WAR. So he had a 6+ WAR from 1955 to 1969. Only 13 position players reached that mark in 2022. So that's pretty awesome. October excellence, 1,116 postseason OPS. Aaron did not get many chances to play in the postseason, but when he did, he took advantage, batting .362, .405, and .710 with 6 homers, 16 RBIs in 17 games. In 2 of the 3 series, World Series 1957, 1969, National League Championship Series, he homered 3 times, among those with at least 70 career postseason plate appearances in the AL and NL. He ranks 5th in average, 4th in slugging, and 5th in OPS. My God. This just doesn't exist. It doesn't. Hard to get hardware. Always in the MVP conversation, despite all the production and accolades. It's a bit shocking that Aaron is not among the players to capture multiple MVP awards. He won for the only time in 1957, which was his 4th season. Aaron never finished as a runner-up. And that talks about how baseball is different than it was back then nowadays. Because he just produced like a monster, and there's no other player like Hank Aaron. And number 13, the ultimate big brother, first in siblings homers. Baseball has seen its fair share of impressive brother tandems or trios, from the Warners to the DiMaggios to the Alous to the Alomars to the Uptons to the Seekers. Yet it's the Aarons who hold the record for most home runs by any brother combo, and it's not especially close. This despite the fact that Hank Aaron's younger brother Tommy hit just 13 big flies over parts of 7 seasons with Hank's Braves between 1961 to 1971. That means Hank Aaron accounts for 98.3% of Aaron Brothers' 768 home runs. That might be the most awesome part on that entire list, by far. So yeah, Hammer and Hank Aaron, Brewers legend, Milwaukee legend, one of the best things of baseball. And it just talks about what a different time in baseball that was. Like, to read that and to get the nostalgia and to be able to see a player like that play in and out every year. There's no other. There's no other. And would have been 89 had he not died. What a great. I never got to meet him. I mean, I was this close. I was this close one time at On Deck. And I'm kind of sad I didn't now, because wow. Just wow, guys. Like, whew, taken back by that. Sometimes you read these stats. I was watching earlier, I was watching Facing Nolan. And just to hear about Nolan Ryan and to hear these things. We don't have this level of baseball. We're in a different era in the game, and I understand that. But to see some of the things that these guys did back then, it's like, wow, that builds to the history, the story of where we are today. You know, it's unbelievable. It is unbelievable, and it's fun. Gotta love it. Otherwise, around baseball, there really isn't a lot of news outside of that. We're just kind of in these wrap-up stories right before. Beltran joined the Mets. I read that on The Athletic earlier today. Rojas got an extension. Yeah, I think that's really. This was the wildest game in MLB history. Okay, you got me. I'll bite. If you haven't already, guys, go over to brewerfanatic.com. Jump in the conversations over there. I post videos there. Try to once a week. I don't always guarantee I got something there, but I do my best. I try to post content where people can see it, so you guys can enjoy it. And that's what I do. So brewsfanatic.com. I think my most recent video, I talk about the outfield and I break down my thoughts on the outfield, which I've talked about multiple times over. I always like to just check the hashtag Brewers on Twitter and just kind of see what's out there. It doesn't look like anything's really going on there. Giannis put up 50 like twice in the last week, so that was fun to watch. Glad to see those things. Yeah, there's no new news. No news is good news, right? That's what they always say. I don't know. I guys, I'm having fun with this. I've had a lot of fun with that. We talked about sheets on the wall, Hall of Fame wall, or Wall of Fame. Sorry, Wall of Fame. We talked about Tellez. Yeah, there's nothing new right now, guys. So no Adam McKelvey stories, no nothing to dive into. We're gonna get a little deeper into the Athletic this week. They got some conversation about the new rules and the playing all 30 clubs in one season. So we're going to get deeper into that. We're going to get deep dives. I'm going to try and get some more interviews going here, some more conversation for you guys to enjoy. I hope you're enjoying everything. Like I said, guys, check out the new looks of the site, the new images everywhere. If you want to support us, you can go over to patreon.com/Miller Park Minute and support us there. Other than that, guys, that's all I got. This has been a fun week in Miller Park Minute. This has probably been one of the best weeks I've had so far, and I really enjoy it. And I love getting to sit down with each and every one of you and just chat and have you DM me, have you give me ideas for the show. Keep that coming my way. I really appreciate everything, guys. So that being said, we are out. Thanks for letting me chat in your ear. Check us out, 5:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. Leave a comment, rate, review, like, and as always, have a great day and go Brewers.
Thank you for watching the Miller Park Minute. Go Brewers.